I was right about everything. Let's see what's going on in the news here. The coronavirus, how they're ratcheting things up here, and it's going to get way worse. Uh, I told my ex-girlfriend that they're putting up all these apartments because we're getting ready to have another crash and people are going to lose their homes. She said, "Oh, no, no, no." I said, "Who are going to go into these apartments? They're building all this. Are we expecting a huge wave of migrants, of immigrants to come in? Somebody has to fill those apartments. They wouldn't be investing all that money if people aren't going to be going in there. I live in the Orlando area and there's a ton of places going up. And there's no way they're not going to be filled with people. And this is exactly what's going to happen. This is the new cycle. It's going to be 2008 all over again. People are going to lose their homes. They're going to get robbed by Wall Street. Pensions are going to disappear. They're going to divide and conquer, where they're having people fight amongst one another. They've all of a sudden come out with this new phrase, "Okay, boomer," so that they can pit the young against the old. And the boomers have had everything and they don't deserve anything else. They've taken everything. It's their fault this world sucks. So if this coronavirus kills them, then great, they died. They're out of the way. We don't have to fund their social security benefits that they worked for and that they earned. And we can take all their money and we can have a better life at their expense. This is the reason why they destroy family. This is the reason why they destroy morals, so that if you are not united we stand, divided we fall. If you're not united and willing to die for something and someone and a cause and a love of a family, you will be conquered and enslaved. And that's exactly what's fucking happening right now. And it's going to get so much worse. Uh, there's a list here. The orders just kept going up, what they're going to do. You can only go out for essentials. Parks are closed. Only essential businesses can stay open. Um, and then we're going to be limiting how many people are going to be coming into the store, and we're going to be making these lines so that you have to route yourself in. All that's set up for is preparedness for when the shit hits the fan. They're not going to have massive people running into Walmart and just robbing everything. That's coming. There's going to be police presence with guns. And I'm not talking about your, sidearms. I'm talking about full automatic rifles. We're talking, M16s, maybe some AKs, MP5s, all the shit you see on Hollywood and the terrorists. Uh, and there's going to be a huge presence of them in order to keep civility. And it ain't going to happen. The shit is going to break down in the poorer communities and just migrate its way up. They're going to destroy wealth on a level you have never seen before. Uh, let's see what the next one is here. I'm not even going to go through. Oh, another story that's coming out is in Osceola County, starting 12:01 a.m. on Monday, April 13th. It's mandatory now. You have to wear some type of face mask when out in public. Uh, oops. Let's see here. Let's go to the next one. Here it is right here. Once they steal your home from you, JP Morgan Chase to raise mortgage borrowing standards as economic outlook darkens. So now all of a sudden you're gonna have a credit score of at least 700. Well, that's not too hard, but you're gonna have 20% of the home value down payment. Well, if you're looking at a $250,000 home, you're looking at $50,000 down payment. 100,000, you're gonna need $20,000 down. People who can afford that level of home don't have 20%. We're like 3% is pretty much, and less is pretty much the norm of a down payment. And now they want 20%, and inflation's going to hit. If you can hang on to your home, you better fucking do it, because hyperinflation's going to hit. And whatever your home is valued at today, say it's 400,000 tomorrow, well, not tomorrow, but in the near future, it's going to be 800,000 guaranteed. And the only way the banks are not going to lose on inflation, because they can't stop at this point, is they have to take as many homes from people as they possibly can and then resell them in the future. Because if everybody holds on to their home and all of a sudden it's worth double, So let's say you have a $400,000 home, it's now worth 800,000, and let's say you've got $150,000 in student loans, you've got $25,000 in credit cards, you have $40,000 in car loans. You know, I don't know whatever else you would have left after that, but you could easily sell your house, pay back what you owe to the bank, pay off all your debt, and still have money left over from equity. So let's say you had $50,000 of equity in that $400,000 home. So that's 50, and that's $450,000 you just automatically just in a blink of an eye. It just happened because of inflation. If you could find somebody to buy it for that price, which is going to be hard because everybody's going to be selling their damn house, and then you just have to make a lateral move to something else, which is not a good idea. Don't do it. Excuse me. Wait for everybody's salary to balance out to where they have to raise minimum wage. But guess what? Most of you people are going to get replaced by robots if you haven't already. This is a purge. They are killing people off. There's too many people in this world. There's not enough jobs. The the direction at which this economy is going, industrial, it's not meant to support people of lower intelligence and people who have no problem showing up to work 40 hours a week, sorting mail, doing the same thing over and over again, repetitive factory work that robots now do. You have been replaced and they don't have anything to do. They don't have anything else for you. And your offspring are going to be just as intelligent as you are 99% of the time. So they don't want you. They don't need you anymore. You are a cog in a machine, and that machine is now being deleted. They have moved on to a much superior form. So that's the reason for this JP Morgan Chase mortgage borrowing. This is coming up the pipeline. And where this guy starts, all the rest of the banks are going to follow. And that's the other thing that's going to happen is that when the dust finally settles on this, you're going to see major companies merging with major companies, and there's going to be more monopolies, less options, and what kind of freedom do you have if you don't have freedom of choice? If you can't choose between providers for anything, your freedom of choice is an illusion. You don't have freedom anymore. You are a slave to the slave master, and that's what they've been doing and working on. And they tried breaking it up in the 80s with Ma Bell. All those companies are back together. You ask people on the street, they don't know. Everybody's fucking stupid. Everybody's fucking asleep. Keep hitting the wrong damn one. All right, hundreds of U.S. meat workers now have tested positive for virus. Tom Hanks tested positive. Why is it every celebrity that dies, or all the important ones early on, the big ones, get tested? Is that to scare you? Is that to bring attention to it? It's like, oh my God, if Tom Hanks can get it, I can get it. I'm fucking scared. I'm going to stay in my house and do what the fuck they tell me. Why they rob me of all my freedoms and liberties and fuck me over, break the Constitution, put in martial law. You don't quarantine healthy people. You quarantine sick people. If you're quarantining healthy people, you're imposing martial law without actually calling it martial law. It's like when you go and false flag the Gulf of Tonkin in order to bring in a conflict to Vietnam so you can go have a little war in the backyard of China so you can kind of test out the grounds over there. Under the Constitution, you have to have the Senate declare war. And if they don't, it's an unconstitutional war. So, well, we can get around that fact. We can just go in and have a conflict. We had a 10-year conflict with this country. It was actually more than that. I think we went in 67 and finally got out in 75. Even though the war, I think, kind of was ended in 73, somewhere around there. So maybe that's not 10 years, but the French were in there for 10 years. I really don't remember when. No, we were in there in 63, 62, somewhere right around Kennedy. So that's how you basically get around doing that. So we go to war with people. It's not actually declared war, it's a conflict, but it's no different. We got people going over there fighting and dying who swore an oath to protect this country, and people are being sent off and nobody seems to notice and nobody seems to fucking care. And when you don't fight for your rights and you don't fight for when people end up starting to do things that aren't right and you just sit there and allow it to happen, this is what you get. It's your fucking fault for not standing up. So now we've got hundreds of US meat workers have now tested positive for the virus. Isn't it amazing that all of a sudden every single infrastructure that is viable that you need in order to keep people alive is all of a sudden being hit? So we have meat workers, we have nurses being hit, we have police officers, firefighters. So now all the people that are going to be able to keep society calm and civilized is going to go out the door. You don't have people to stop fires. You don't have people to enforce laws. You don't have uh, food supply, and you don't have money, and you don't have people being, occupied by doing a job. So now what's going to happen? You got people who are starving, no hope, no money, and no reason not to go out and take something in order to survive. And they've stopped you from buying guns. They've blocked you from assembly. You can't go out there and protest. You can't go out there and you can't even continue your normal life. You're telling me there's not a new world order? There's not a one world government when everybody across this entire fucking globe almost is all acting the same? They've got everybody doing the same thing, looking the same way, fearing the same thing. And you don't think there's fucking mind control going on? Wake the fuck up. Spike in coronavirus cases at meat plants in the U.S. with hundreds of reported infections in just the last week. That's adding to questions over the fragility of the food supply chain and raising concerns over worker safety. There you go. Fear. Bam. All you gotta do is send that. Hell, all you gotta do is fucking say that there's uh, a bunch of workers that have tested positive in one area and watch people not show up for work. There was a nursing home facility or something similar to it where 2-3 days in a row the workers decided not to show up. They had to evacuate all the patients and take them somewhere else because they weren't being cared for. uh, you know eh, so now if they were all infected, instead of bringing people in to that building, which was the smartest thing to do, they've now taken all the people out who possibly had contracted this, if this is fucking real, because I question whether this is even fucking real. What I do know is that if people don't bow down to what they're telling them to do, they will release the real fucking thing in certain areas and say, see, I told you. I fucking told you. Kansas governor wins court battle over limiting church gatherings to 10 people. Well, there's a win right there. So obviously it's unconstitutional. 5-2. The court has ruled that the legislative panel composed of state house and state members overstepped its authority when it voted 5-2 to overturn Kelly's executive order. Well, wait a minute. Kelly filed this court. Okay, so it was overturned. So that's good. That's what I thought that thing read. What's the next one here? Oh, this is fucking great. Apple and Google detail bold and ambitious plan to track COVID-19 at scale. This is the reason right here why people are burning down 5G towers. They don't want facial recognition. They're tired of being tracked. They're tired of their privacy being invaded. And they know that this is going to be in slavery at a point where you're not going to be able to undo it. And they're fighting it right now by doing this. It has nothing to do with COVID-19. I'm sure there's health risks, but it's not probably with COVID-19, it's not causing it. What it's supposedly doing is emitting levels of radiation way above what is acceptable and healthy. There's a video on YouTube. I don't know how accurate it is, if if he's lying or not, because everybody's got their own agenda. But it shows him walking around the streets of London, and it's like pinging red. Uh, and if you ever want the truth to be out there in plain sight, where people won't even listen to it or hear it or shun it, easiest way to do is have it come out of a comedian's mouth, have it come out of a movie, or have it come out of a crazy person's mouth. That crazy person is Alex Jones. He can say the most craziest shit and embellish it and make it sound even crazier. Just because the messenger is crazy doesn't mean the message is. The message could be completely true. This is a tactic, the psychological fuck you out of ever even siding with the truth, where as soon as you hear it, you just completely reject it and rebuke it. Uh, let's see here. In a bold and ambitious collaboration, Apple and Google are developing a smartphone platform that tries to track the spread of a novel coronavirus at scale and at the same time preserve the privacy of Oh, yeah, I'm sure that's exactly what they fucking want. No such agency, the NSA, or No Secrets Admitted, has spent billions, if not trillions, on creating huge computers and storage and tracking, and they are documenting every single thing that's said over a phone, your Alexa, TV, all of the cameras. You can watch all these movies, like Enemy of the State, that shows how they can tap into anything. And I guarantee you they got that fucking capability now. Why would they invest all that money in something? I mean, when you invest something, money, time, something, you expect to get something out of it. What are they going to get out of it? Why would they, ask yourself, why would they be investing all this fucking money and time into tracking citizens that are legal upholding citizens? They aren't doing anything wrong. We have like less than 3 million people incarcerated in this country in the United States, and there's 330 million, maybe 350 million at this point. Who knows? 2020 census is coming out. I think last census 10 years ago was 300 million. They think there's probably at least 30 million illegal immigrants in this country, and more have come in. So let's say 350 million people in the United States. Let's say it's 3.5 million people incarcerated, even though it's not. That's 1%. And hell, let's even say there's another 3.5 that have been released. So you have 2% of the population that are criminals, and you're tracking illegally 98% of the law abiding citizens. For what purpose? What would you possibly want to know what everybody's doing? Unless, of course, you're getting ready to conquer them and you don't want any dissent and you want to be ahead of the game where you can find the people who are going to revolt and take care of them. And that would be the only reason why you would invest this much money into something. Your freedoms are going away. Bye. Kiss them goodbye. They've never been freedoms. They've just been privileges, according to George Carlin, which is a great person to go watch. You are watching the Constitution burn right in front of your face. The people that ended up winning against these people, which is amazing that these fucking pitchfork farmers were able to take advantage of the situation when they were in the colonies and fight and win. And now they're losing. They've basically lost. Uh, you've got a huge revolt all across the country, all across the world, and not across this country, unfortunately, but mostly in Europe. You had the demonstrators in France, you had, I think, Romania, there was, Hong Kong, Taiwan, and they were winning. You've got this huge Ponzi scheme of money shifting hands to where it's just a house of cards and it could collapse at any time. All you need is just the right situation to do it. Happened in 2008. And this is controlled too. These people at the top are incredibly smart. You think they don't know what the fuck they're doing? They don't have contingency plans. They don't know how to, all of a sudden bring everything back and say, you know what, this was the wrong time to do it. Let's wait another 5, 10 years and, lull them back to sleep and then fucking hit them hard and, learn from the lessons that we've learned in this instance. If they don't pull it now, they're going to get it in the future. There's no fucking way, but everybody's going to get hit fucking hard this time. Far more people than 2008. So this is all going to be tracking, and that's what the 5G towers are for. Mitigating the worst. What's this? But while mobile-based contract tracing may be more effective, it also poses a serious threat to individual privacy. There you go. Since it opens the door to central databases and track the movements of social interactions of potentially millions and possibly billions of people, the platform Apple and Google are developing uses an innovation cryptographic scheme that aims to allow the contact tracing to work at scale without posing the risk of privacy of those who opt into the system. You ever notice how Google Maps and traffic works amazingly well? You know when there's a traffic jam, you kind of know when there's an accident. You know why that is? Because they're tracking your phones, every single one of your phones. A guy took 100 cell phones, put them in a wagon, like a red radio flyer, and just started walking them around town. And he caused Google Maps to falsify, traffic jams. He was able to do it wherever he went, and it wasn't true. That's how he proved that they're tracking your cell phones. That's how he proved it to me. What's next? These assholes. Why Royal Caribbean, Carnival, and Norwegian Cruise Line could all plunge on Monday. They probably will. They, the people who are in control, they shut down everything. And, you know, nobody these days has owns anything. All the banks own everything. Everything's rented from the banks. You may say you own it, but you owe the bank, and the bank can repossess it any time if you don't make payments. Well, all of a sudden they're ready to repossess because they're not going to allow you to make payments because they took away all your ability to make money. And you know it's bad when the people at the top are fighting with each other, and that's exactly what's going on. You have larger businesses swallowing up larger businesses. When millionaires are complaining about being pushed around by billionaires, there's a fucking problem. You know, that there was a story about that in Hawaii, I think on 60 Minutes or something, where all these millionaires are now, they're nobodies, they're peasants, they're peons, because billionaires come in and push them around. Oh, you got a million, big deal. You know, they don't get access to all the stuff they used to have access to. And, you know, $1 million doesn't go as far as it used to anymore. Uh, so, you know, if, I don't know. I'd go off on a tangent on this as well. You know, you can look up. Oh gosh, what's his name? Bill Burr talks about in a joke about, you know, if he was going to thin out the population, he would start with carnival with cruise lines. You know, he's like, Jesus, why? It's like, well, you know, I feel like it's a, you know, a pretty good selection of people. You know, just random, and you know, you just start sinking cruise ships, and pretty psychotic. But the fact that he makes that joke, and now we've got this, and you know, the Titanic sank too. You know, there was a ton of wealthy individuals on that ship, and if you ever wanted to make a power move, that would have been a good one. You know, to sink the Titanic, kill a ton of influential and powerful men and their families, and then come in and loot whatever's left. If that isn't a conspiracy theory somewhere, I'm surprised it's not, because that sure would have been a good way to take over this country and remove a lot of powerful people. This will lead to airline bankruptcies, flight attendant union furious with Treasury bailout offers. This is something that people were screaming in Congress in 2008. I remember that said, let them fail. Let them fail. Just let them fail. We will rebuild after it. Everybody was scared, and I was too at the time. I thought that's fucking insane. That's crazy. Why would you let them fail? We need to support these people. This is the reason why. Because they prioritize the profits and they socialize the penalties. You know, anything that ends up going sour, the debt, all these bailouts, who pays for it? We do. We're paying for it one way or another, either directly with our tax money or indirectly with inflation. Every time inflation happens, your dollar's worth less. So you're paying, it's a tax, it's a hidden tax. You're getting fucked one way or another. The question is, how far are you willing to let that red, white, and blue dick get jammed up your fucking ass? You willing to take just the tip, halfway, balls deep? How much you willing to take? Because apparently Americans are willing to take at least one part of that fucking dick. I don't know about you, but I'm not gay, and I'm not looking to get fucked. This will lead to the airline bankruptcies, flight attendant union furious with Treasury bailout offers. Less than 24 hours after the Treasury Department formally extended cash grant offers to the six largest airlines in the U.S., the union representing 120,000 flight attendants is blasting the move with a dire warning. This will lead to airline bankruptcies. You're damn right it will. And that's exactly what they want, because then they're going to take over their fucking airlines and they're going to merge them again. And there's going to be probably two airlines left. And then there's going to be one. There's only going to be Amazon, Walmart, and Costco left. And then pretty soon, more than likely, Amazon's going to be on top, or another one will come out of the woodwork and gobble up two. And probably Costco and Walmart will have to merge. Uh, and which obviously the math doesn't work on that. You know, if they're gobbling up two, then only one would be left. Um, so maybe it ends up. Uh, I don't know. You know, it's just you're going to end up with one company running everything. You've got Disney buying Fox, And Fox used to have only 6 companies. Right now, I think maybe it's less, that own every single media outlet. The Constitution says we're supposed to have a free press to protect us from this kind of crap. Can you actually have a free press when the news is owned by a corporation and that corporation won't allow it to say anything bad about any of its subsidiaries, any of its companies? That's not free. That's limited. That's strangled. That's leashed. There is no free press anymore. And if you do have a free press, they will infiltrate it, they will corrupt it, they will bankrupt it, they will suppress it, they will buy it out. If you have something that's working against their best interests, they will remove you, ruin you, murder you. They'll do whatever it is to get rid of you. This will lead to airline bankruptcy, said Sarah Nelson, president of the Association of Flight Attendants Union. The Treasury Department is destabilizing the industry, not helping save it. Yep. Yeah. All this is doing is bailing out the people who took risk. This is another reason why all companies should be employee owned. There is no public owned. That way, everything is done in the best interest of the people who made that fucking company. And you don't get to just rob people of their blood, sweat, and tears and investment in their pensions. What else we got? I covered this already, didn't I? JP Morgan Chase for Age Mortgage. I'm pretty sure if I did. No, I did. I know. Now they're saying coronavirus travels 13 feet. There was another study saying it travels 26 feet. And then if you're exercising by running fast or biking fast, it'll travel as much as 65 feet. So you just have to stay in your house all the time. They're just going to keep ratcheting it up, 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 up. What are you willing to take? How much are you willing to take? Will they take more? They're just going to keep pushing it out. Just keep pushing it. MIT said gave the virus travel range of 23 to 37 feet, which the top U.S. infectious disease expert Dr. Anthony Fauci slammed as misleading. Let's see if they talk about bicycling. Find any other numbers in here. Nope. All right. 5G protesters sabotage Dutch phone towers. Yep. We already covered that. The reason why? It's not coronavirus. It's that they don't want their liberties taken from them. They don't want to be tracked. They don't want 1984. They don't want a brave new world. It's fucking gone on too far. Industry scrambles to stop fatal bird flu in South Carolina. Here's another one. Now they're going to scare you with another flu, and it's going to hit the poultry industry, which means now you've got coronavirus affecting the meat processors. So nobody's going to show up for work to process meat. So there's going to be a shortage of meat in the supply chain. So now people aren't going to be getting the proper protein they need. Now they're going to attack the food for the birds. And that's not going to happen. Trump rejects the bailout because if it included aid to the U.S. Postal Service. What's the U.S. Postal Service? Government entity. What do big business want to do? Privatize everything, including your Social Security, your Medicare, everything. Put it all on Wall Street and watch it go away. George Carlin in the stand-up special says they want all of it. They want all for them and nothing for you. And they're coming for your fucking Social Security. They're coming for your fucking Social Security. They're going to take it. They're going to get it. Oh, they're going to get all of it. And they're going to give it to their criminal friends on Wall Street. That's what he said. And that's exactly what the fuck is happening. How much proof, how much evidence do you need before you say, you know what? I'm getting fucked here on a level I'm just not willing to tolerate anymore. It's just a little too much. Another news article I don't have up here is the fact that they're going to have forced vaccinations and they're going to have tracking devices on you and they're going to have papers. And if you don't have papers showing that you've not a danger to society because you've taken this vaccination, you can't work, you can't travel. They're going to get rid of currency. It's going to go digital so that they can control all the money. They can get their taxes. They can get whatever they want. And if you're a fucking problem, they can shut off your chip. You're not going to be able to eat. You're not going to be able to barter. They're going to make bartering illegal because it's it's to protect the safety of the public. Because God forbid somebody exchanges 2 items, eggs for toilet paper or whatever, then you're going to be risking the person who's eating the eggs because we don't know if those eggs, are safe or not. They're spending. Let me go to a. Well, I'll just keep going down this one. I'll come back to that. There's another story out there that where farmers are dumping milk, 46 million gallons of milk, while we've got people fucking starving or going to be starving. You can't take 2.2. You can't take 100 million out of that 2.2 trillion and somehow, you know, structure that infrastructure to be able to process that milk and give it away to the people who need it, the homeless, the people who are poor. You know where the fucking people reside at. You know where the poorest places are. Instead, they're dumping it. Why? Because if they don't dump it, it's going to crash the amount that milk costs. You got supply and demand. You have an oversupply and little demand in comparison. So now all of a sudden, milk at $3 a gallon plummets to like 99 cents, and then the farmers can't make money, and then they stop working. Okay, so milk goes down to 99 cents. Keep paying the fucking farmers. Take the goddamn money from the stimulus plan, pay the fucking farmers. Problem solved. You know, they're talking about how they can't wipe away student debt. We got $1.6 trillion in student debt now, and that's the reason why we're having such a housing market crisis. Millennials aren't buying homes on large scale because they can't afford them. They can't afford them because they're mired in debt. You can all of a sudden come up with billions and trillions of dollars to go to war with Iraq and Afghanistan and Syria and Lebanon and Sudan and fight all these conflicts all over the world. And then you can have bailouts for airlines, which has happened before, for crews. You have to have government shutdowns. Somehow you can find a way to stop fucking spending money or just print up money whenever you need it to support the people that you care about the most so that you can continue this machine. But when it comes to the people who fucking make this country run, fuck them. We don't care about them. Keep them enslaved to debt. Keep them starving. Keep them fighting amongst each other so they don't see how bad we're fucking them. So why did he reject the bailout? He rejected it because he wants to see the U.S. and Trump is a puppet, okay? You think he's on your side? No, he's part of the fucking problem. He's one head of a two-headed coin. Barack Obama came in there to help black people. By the time he left office, black people were way worse off than ever before. He fucked everybody, but he fucked the black community the hardest. And they put up with it. Why? Because they thought he was one of them. He wasn't. Trump's the same way. You think Trump's out there to help you? He's not. He's there to make you believe that he's doing something. Good cop, bad cop. He's fighting it. And if he loses, he just wasn't strong enough. But he put up a valiant effort. The fuck he did. He got you to sit on the sidelines hoping that he was going to do for you what you should have fucking done for yourself. So Trump goes out and he's not going to support this. And like I said, Trump's a puppet. He's a face of a bunch of other people who are the most powerful people in this country and the world. They want to see everything privatized. Excuse me. They want to see the federal postal service go under. So now UPS can come in, Amazon can come in, FedEx, DHL on a small part, anybody else who's private. But you know who's going to win in the end? Amazon or somebody bigger. Amazon's got their freaking grubby little fingers in everything. And they're fucking killing it. What's the next one here? Billionaires, young women on private jet caught defying coronavirus lockdown. You know, true freedom is never having to say you're sorry and, you know, buying and doing. When you are this fucking rich, you have levels of freedom unattainable to anybody else. And this just goes to show it. These people do not operate on the same level as the little guy. There are two levels here. There's the rich and the poor. There are two law systems. One where you can pay to get out of things, and one when you get fined, you can't afford it. The average American has less than $400 in his account. And after this, in just this month alone, one-third of renters across the United States failed to pay their rent. And a majority of people at the end of this month, coming May 1st, will have depleted their savings. What is this fucking country going to look like then? Trump's still going to be sitting there saying, oh, I think in 2 weeks we're going to be able to get it all back. You know, we're all going to come back. Look at Disney World. Disney World has shut down everything. They've furloughed everybody. You don't fucking send people home when you think you're going to be back up and running. You're not. You're not going to be back up and running, and not at capacity. You know, you know how hard it is to bring all those people back in, have to retrain them or train new people in their place. And look at the history of Disney. They've let projects go away and just wither to nothing, to dust, and let hotels rot, and then all of a sudden you know create new ones in their place. They have no problem. They are cutthroat. They know what they're looking at. They know what they're facing. And Disney is a huge mega monopoly in this country. And if they're doing something, they know it's bad. Warren Buffett all of a sudden dumped $30 million out of the market. He sees the shit hitting the fan. It's our next one here. CNN, Communist News Network. IRS deposits first wave of stimulus checks. Here it is, your buyout. Here it is to keep you silent, to keep you from revolting. This is a war of attrition. We know that there's going to be a revolution in this country and everywhere else, and we just need to mitigate it in waves. Same way they're claiming with the coronavirus, that this is going to happen in waves. You know what the waves are going to be? It's going to be the poorest people, and then the next poorest people, and then the next poorest people, or the little more wealthier people, I should say. That when people run out of money and food and shelter, and they don't have anything else, they are going to fucking rob and steal in order to stay alive, and they're going to burglarize, they're going to murder, they're going to squat. They're going to do everything because they're fighting for their fucking life. And this is just more evidence of it. They're trying to stem that from happening. Where's this money coming from? If you can just fucking print up money at any time to just erase a debt, well, then why don't we just fucking balance the budget that way? Why don't we get rid of the things that are causing us problems? You want people to be enslaved in debt, obviously. You want people to have to pay their credit cards and their mortgages and their car notes. I mean, if you can just print up money and not be Zimbabwe, where all of a sudden you go from, a loaf of bread is $1 to $400 million, why not just keep printing money if that's the answer to it? The fiat currency, if this is the quantitative easing that you can get away with, why fucking stop here? Keep going. Go big. Do it all. Fucking print out as much money as you can, erase all the debt, wipe it clear, start over, tabula rasa. Everybody gets a free house. Everybody gets a free car. Everybody gets a free lunch. Everybody gets free everything. And then we just live in a utopia and we go forward and we fucking show up to whatever job we want to do or don't want to do. Somehow a robot will be made to do the job that we don't want to do, which is already happening. You got AI, you got sex dolls, you got all kinds of shit happening that you would have never dreamed would have been possible fucking 300 years ago. How the fuck did we get this fucking far advanced in just 100, 200 years? How the fuck did we go from 20,000 years of Stone Age technology, the Bronze Age, to the Steel Age, whatever age we went to after that, and all of a sudden the Industrial Age and the Technological Age? How the fuck did we jump so fucking far in such a short time? That's amazing. Julian Assange. This motherfucker here is fake, people. You need to wake the fuck up. This guy is not real. Put yourself in a position of power. You want to conquer the world. You want to fucking own everything. And you want to be ahead of the game. You want people to tattle on themselves. What would you do? You'd put this fucking guy out there. You'd put him out there as fake. So that now, when you want to be a whistleblower and you think you're doing right by alerting the public, you're giving it to the people who are going to help you. You're giving it to the person who is fucking you. They're fucking you. Do you really think Pamela Anderson goes to visit this fucking guy and he's not part of it? Come on. This is the biggest fucking scam there is. This is the biggest operative you've ever fucking seen, and people fucking believe this guy's real. It's bullshit. Tom Hanks hosting SNL from home. This guy gets fucking... Jesus. Yeah, you guys saw that. Yeah, I watched that stuff. Let's see here. De Blasio doesn't have authority to keep NYC schools closed. Shouldn't watch this stuff. It's not good for you. I saw it at a young age, and just it gripped me, and I've never paid for it, with the exception of one time of renting videos. But that's the justification I do for that. Not proud of it. Don't recommend it. It's not good for you. But I'm not going to act like I don't. The majority of people do, unfortunately. And it's just another way they fucking control you by taking away your sexual experiences at a young age. And Hollywood does the same thing by showing you all these romantic and kissing scenes, which you should have created your own with the one significant person you should have been with for life. Uh, and by, you know, there's tons of studies that show masturbating ends up taking away your testosterone, eating all these high levels of sugar, having excess belly fat ends up making you have less testosterone, which makes you not want to fight. You become feminine. They have feminized men in this world. Why? Because they want to dominate. They don't want men to stand up and fight, and they got women to fucking turn on men, and men to turn on women. This is how they divide and conquer. It's been going on for a long time. All my life, at a young age, I'm 41. And, Married with Children came out when I was in, probably around right before 10 years old. Simpsons came out when I was in fifth grade. And it showed the father being a bumbling idiot. My dad said something to me like, no, no, no. But it's true. It's a theme that's run deep. It shows where men are bumbling idiots, the women are strong, and the men just need to stand aside and let the women do it. Well, let me tell you something. Women are not going to be able to go out there and fight, fucking win. Men win wars. That's why women stay home and they make more men. That's how they have freedom. Otherwise, everybody's going to be the same. Everybody's going to be brown haired, brown skin, brown eyes, with tits and a dick, and we're all gonna have sex with each other or ourselves or a fucking robot, and that's it. That's what the fuck they want. It's everything is acceptable now. They're trying to pass pedophilia laws. They're trying to. I'm sure they're trying to have sex. I mean, where is the line crossed? I mean, is it okay to have sex with animals? Is it okay to have sex with children and rob them of their fucking innocence? Is it okay to have child sacrifice? Do we go back to that for population control? Where is a civility crossed to where it becomes unfit for humanity? It becomes barbarian. Where is that line? What are you willing to tolerate? Is it okay to have Hollywood have a 6, 8-year-old kid on screen saying profane words like fuck, shit, piss, cunt, everything just for a laugh? I watched a Will Ferrell movie for, a matter of minutes before I shut it off. I was sickened. It was a video of a movie of, I don't know, him and Mark Wahlberg or something. I can't remember what it was. I think it was that one. It was fucking horrible. I turned it off. Could not believe it. It was disgusting. I was with my best friend, Ezra Sanders, when we went out to watch a movie in Morton, Illinois. And it was The Hand That Rocks the Cradle. And when she planted, I think, the panties on that black guy who was the guy who was in Ghostbusters, I believe, and he was, mentally retarded. He was not intelligent, but had a good heart and cared, but didn't have the ability to stand up for himself or fight when somebody was framing him. I told Ezra I'm walking out. Him and I walked out of the movie at that point, and I didn't see the end of that movie for years down the road. Horrible. Fucking hated that. That's Hollywood for you. Hollywood has been destroying civility, morals, family the whole time. They want you to believe that, you should live for today, live for yourself, make yourself happy at everyone else's expense. And if you do that, you're going to destroy family. You're going to destroy wealth. You're going to destroy unity. And you're going to be easily conquered. That's the propaganda. That's what works. And it's been doing it for a long time, to the point where it's now freaking worked. I don't know why it says I'm offline, but there's the meat one. I already covered that. Hundreds of U.S. meat workers have now tested positive for the virus. We're tracking the latest, the coronavirus outbreak, the global response sign up here. You know what? The coronavirus was in all 50 states It wasn't in West Virginia for a little while for whatever fucking reason. It was in 49 states early on. If this is as contagious as they said, it should have blown up by now. All these testing facilities where they're testing you, this isn't testing people. This is fucking inoculation. They're claiming something's out there and then they're making it happen. If that's what they're doing at all, I can guarantee you something ain't right. This shit should have exploded a long fucking time ago. And we're testing people. You can see them smirking and smiling. They say, "Oh yeah, we're testing more than anybody." Yeah, I'm sure they are, and it's a fucking lottery. And it's amazing how it only attacks the people that aren't really good for the community, the people who are killing us. As far as we have to support older people were living longer up until recently. It attacks people with diabetes, so overweight people who are ended up costing us more money at hospitals and healthcare. That's one of the biggest problems of our debt right now, is saying that we cannot support Medicare and Social Security, and it's just we can't keep funding it. It's unfundable at the rate we have people living too long. So what do? You kill these people off. Now, problem solved. You think that the people at the top are going to allow you to win? No. Even if you stand up and fight and revolt, you know what they're going to do? They're going to fucking spread the real virus and kill a bunch of people. If you don't fucking bow down to them, they're going to drop a fucking nuclear bomb and fucking kill tons of people and blame it on somebody else. North Korea, Russia, Iran. They're going to blame somebody. They have no fucking problem. These people aren't like you and me. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck about you. They only care about themselves, and they will kill you just like that to protect their own ass. They are not going to allow you to fucking win. It's just not going to happen. There's been a few times in history where they've lost. One of them was in Russia when they killed them all and got rid of them. The other one was here in the United States when the colonies just revolted and a revolution happened and they fucking took control and freedom. And we hold this self-evident that we are our own people. I'm getting tired here and I can't remember the exact verbiage. We hold these rights self-evident. That basically God made us, and God, whoever you want to believe is God, and that they have a right to be free and not be enslaved by somebody higher than them because they're able to be in a position of power. Dairy farmers pour out 43 million gallons of milk due to surplus. 43 million. The U.S. has been dealing with the enormous milk and cheese glut. It prompted the USDA on Tuesday to offer to buy 20 million of the cheddar cheese to reduce private cheese surplus that has reached record levels, the department said in a news release. It's all about money. If they're so worried about it, just fucking pay the farmers for the difference, Let the consumer benefit from lower prices of milk. They're not paying $3, only paying $1. Buy the rest of the milk. Make sure the farmers get paid what they're supposed to get paid on a normal basis. Take the surplus and give it to the poor, the needy, the homeless. Just that fucking easy. How hard is that? Here's a good picture. Here they're all dumping it. Just wasting milk. I guarantee you, every one of those tankers is probably about 10 to 12,000 gallons. And they don't know, I can't remember the capacity they're allowed. I used to haul, so I really can't remember. I think you can fill it all the way up, if not pretty damn close. And if it's all filled, it's great because you don't have the surge back and forth when you're driving it. If you don't have baffles, and I'm pretty sure these guys don't have baffles, it'd be too hard to clean. Let's see here. That's the last one. That's all the news articles. So, if you people don't wake up and you don't start fighting for the rights that they're suppressing, they're taking away your right to assemble, taking your right away for free speech. They're taking your right away for Second Amendment to be able to buy guns. It's just that they are removing your rights and they're killing you and they're making you weaker. And by the time you get together to stand up, it's going to be chaos. You're going to be fighting amongst each other. People are going to just be fighting for the right to survive because there's not many resources left. This is going to be extremely bad if it continues down this path. And even if it doesn't happen this time, it's going to happen in the future. You need to say enough's enough. Stop fighting with each other and start fighting together and take back what's yours. Start forming teams, start forming Teamsters, unions, start taking back, you know what a great, if I was president, here's what I would do. I'd make sure anybody who was a billionaire, anything above $2 billion, you're not allowed to keep. If you have $2 billion, you get to only have 1 billion. That other billion gets taken away, and you get it back when you're dead, and you can give it to your relatives. Uh, that would take away a lot of power. All these companies need to be broken up. Antitrust laws need to be invoked again. Monopolies are not going to be okay anymore. You need to start having, how we treat our animals is how we basically treat one another. Watch Super Size Me 2. And let's see here. Super Size Me 2. This is a great movie that's free on YouTube. And it shows the poultry industry and how chicken has overtaken beef and what it talks about to be classified as free range. Here's a picture of it. That right there, he's got this little gate right there that shows that, excuse me, that shows that that's all you have to do to allow birds access to outside. And they don't even have to go outside. They just have to have the ability to go outside. Not all of them can fit there either. Just have to have the ability to go outside at some point in time in a 24-hour period. I think a 12-hour period or something like that, to be classified as free range. The birds that are used for our food supply are not free range chickens. They don't leave. They've got them genetically selected so that they can't even walk. They're too heavy. They end up having heart attacks because their heart can't support all this weight. They break their bones, their femurs. It's just an awful life. They live, I think like 16 weeks or less, and like every year they end up coming to a level of maturity like a week sooner. It's like 15 weeks, then 14 weeks, and they keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And this is no way for any living organism to have to live, and all for the purpose of feeding these fat fucking assholes that eat way too fucking much. 7 cents. You can go on. This is the biggest problem we have right now is greed. Greed is fucking killing this country. So I'm just gonna basically stop at this point because it can just continue going. There's too many things that are all connected to one another. That is the reason. What it boils down to is how we treat one another. If we treated one another, had more respect for one another, had respect for our food supply, didn't allow other people to get screwed over in this country, we wouldn't be in the predicament we're in right now. We have allowed other people to get fucked and fucked over so many times. Instances of people who signed a birth certificate for their kid, finds out that the person they're with cheated on them and the kid's not theirs. They're still responsible for raising that kid. And if they don't want to raise it, they're responsible for paying to have that kid raised because they're the father. Legally, they are still the father, even though biologically they're not. They did everything right, and the woman they're with, for whatever reason, cheated on them and had a kid with somebody else and made the other person pay for it because he probably had a better job. And it's okay to screw that guy out of his life and his money. That's theft. And there was no outcry by men to stop it. No outcry. Not standing up for people when they need it the most, the little guys, is going to eventually pick them off one by one by one by one by one until eventually they're going to come after your ass. You're next in line. And that's the fact right now. If you're not on the hit list right now, you will be soon. So you better grow a fucking pair and you better put a fucking end to it now.